Alright, the next video for this solving systems series is going to be solving systems with elimination. We've seen solving with graphing and the substitution method. This is just the third way to solve the system of equations, just a different method. So we got 8x minus 6y equals negative 20, and negative 16x plus 7y equals 30. Now the whole point of the elimination method is to do just that, eliminate a variable. And we're going to accomplish that by doing some arithmetic so that the coefficients in front of the variables, so the numbers in front of the x's and the y's, one of these are opposite of each other. So either one's positive, one's negative. So we're going to try and maybe get this to a positive 16, which is the opposite of a negative 16. And that when we add two equations together, they will cancel out. So a good way to do that is to find the least common multiple of all these coefficients. So here we have the coefficients for the x. So if we're trying to eliminate x, we want these coefficients to be opposite of each other. So I listed the common multiples between 8 and 16. So multiples of 8 are 8, 16, 24, 32. Multiples of 16 are 16, 32, 64. So the least common multiple between those two would be 16. And I did the same thing for the y's. The multiples of 6 are 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, and 42. And the multiples of 7 go up to 42 as well. And the least common multiple between those two is 42. So as you can see, it's a little easier to get to the common multiples between the x values. So that's what we're going to work with. We're going to try and get these coefficients to be opposite of each other. So, what's the opposite of negative 16? Well, it's positive 16. So we're going to multiply this equation up here by a number to make it opposite of negative 16. So 8 times what is 16? We're going to multiply the whole top equation by 2. Both sides too, because that way we don't change the equation. We're just rewriting it. So 8 times 2 times 8x, is going to be 16x. 2 times negative 6y is negative 12y. And then negative 20 times 2 is negative 40. Bring down the original second equation. Okay. Now we're going to take this equation and add these equations and add them together. +16 negative 16 is going to be 0, so I'm not even going to write that. Negative 12y plus 7y is a negative 5y. And negative 40 plus 30 is a negative 10. So that means our y is going to be 2. Now I'm going to take this value for y and plug it into one of these equations. I could plug it into any one of these equations, really. I'm just going to choose this first equation because I think that looks most appealing. So we have 8x minus 6y equals negative 20. My y is 2, so 6 times 2. Add 12 to both sides, we have 8x equals negative 8, and x equals negative 1. So my solution is negative 1, 2. And just as good measure, I'm going to try and check this guy. So I'm going to change my color here, so we got doing the check down here. I'm going to plug negative 1 and 2 in for x and y. So for the first equation, we have 8 times negative 1 plus, minus 6 times 2, and that should equal negative 20. Negative 8 minus 12. Okay, well, Negative 8 minus 12 is indeed negative 20. So this one works out just fine. Let's check the other one just to make sure. Negative 16 times negative 1 plus 7 times 2 should equal 30. Negative 16 times negative 1 is 16. 7 times 2 is 14. And 16 plus 14 is 30, so it works out just fine too. Alright, after watching this video, you should have a good idea of how to do these problems. So try out 19 to 22. Trying to solve the systems of equations using elimination.